Hey all, and welcome back to, well, I guess it's sort of the finale for Bayonetta, but not really. But in any case, it's time to finally learn the truth directly from the horse's mouth, and that horse is a Lumen Sage, which is actually quite impressive, but getting away from the point here. Chapter go now!
Oh yes, I have to say, I do really like this chapter. It's incredibly epic.
Yes.
For pretty much anybody who's playing the game for the first time, having not known anything that's going to happen, you would assume that this is going to be the final chapter, because it's billed as such. You had your boss rush beforehand, and you've had this mysterious voice talking to you throughout the entire game, and finally you get to see who he truly is.
Bit of a creepazoid. Look, alright, I know girls are growing up faster than boys, but you shouldn't be putting lipstick on a child, okay?
Yeah, definitely agree on that one. There's something rather disturbing about it.
Little one.
You've arrived, my dear, sweet Cereza.
It was kind of obvious, but yes, they're one and the same.
Well, yes, also, you know, when Jean called her Cereza as well. We kind of knew at that point.
Well, you know, sometimes it takes a father's words to bring a stranger to the truth. What the fuck kind of metaphor is that, Tom?
I am indeed. My name is Boulder.
There we go.
Jesus, he is camper than a nun's handbag.
He really is, and just that line is just, oh, I just cringe all over when he says, "You may call me Father." I mean, thankfully that does lead to the title of one of the greatest pieces of video game music of all time, but it's just, oh, it just sends a shiver up your spine.
So what's the deal with the half mask? Is there any religious connotation?
I don't know. I think they were probably going for a slight Phantom of the Opera-esque look, trying to make him seem as sort of flamboyant but also threatening as possible. And there's just something about that half mask which is just slightly terrifying.
Well, a full mask means you are definitely keeping secrets, but when half your face is exposed, you don't know what to expect, really. He has multiple sides, multiple facets.
Exactly. And I mean, also, just that dead peacock around his neck it's like the most ridiculous touch ever, but it looks so good.
I never noticed the full peacock. I thought he just had, like, a collar of feathers.
No, it's a full dead peacock, or at least, well, I don't know if it's an actual dead peacock, but wouldn't put it past him.
Could you dispense with the riddles and just tell me what these sodding eyes actually are?
Thank you, Bayo. Saying what we're all thinking.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, so I have to ask, because I'm not sure if this is brought up in the game, and obviously we know that little girl Cereza is Bayonetta from the past. How exactly, and what magic did they employ to rip the girl out of time and not literally kill Bayonetta?
Well, you see, effectively what is occurring here is a stable time loop. And it's a technique that's employed in probably the majority of narratives that include time travel in some form or another. Because the only way that Bayonetta can get to this point is if she went through her past, and then little Cereza got brought to this moment, and then eventually gets sent back. That's the only way that this works. But yeah, there's some absolute classic lines in this. They're just iconic.
Your question has been answered.
Oh, that voice. It's so slimy yet velvety at the same time.
I know. Grant Albrecht does a phenomenal job as the voice of Boulder. He's brilliant. So, I mean, he's probably most well known for voicing Cryptosporidium Crypto, along with G-Man 1, Urban Crazy, and Drax Tripleton in Destroy All Humans, Destroy All Humans 2, and Destroy All Humans Path of the Furon.
Right.
And he has done sort of many other things, but I'd say it's probably the Destroy All Human games, Death Metal in No More Heroes, and then Boulder in the Bayonetta franchise.
Remind me, Death Metal, was he the guy with the big cleaver?
Yes, he was the first boss fight
I love that
No
guy.
More Heroes. I know, he's brilliant. And actually, when you listen to the voices, you're just like, yes, I can piece the two of them together.
Death Metal's a bit more gravelly, but that's just opulent. Like, sure, you must be committing the sin of, actually, what sin would this be? Pride, maybe?
I would say it'd potentially be gluttony. In the sense of it's glutton for money and status.
I
And that
love
sort of stuff.
gold, Bayonetta!
It's time for my preparations to bed.
I will say, for the longest time, people thought that Boulder was voiced by Liam O'Brien.
I can hear and see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's because that was back in a time when nobody knew who voiced anybody in Bayonetta.
Oh, of course, because the voice credits were left off.
Yeah, so everyone just got really confused and tried to guess who voiced who. But thankfully, Hideki Kamiya came out with the win and put the record straight.
Luca approves. God, he must be, like, totally out of breath by now running up all those stairs.
Well, he clearly is a bit kind of pooped because, I mean, you can see the sort of dried blood all over him. He's clearly been through the mill a little bit to get here.
Salvation, light. You take this entrepreneurial philosophy a bit seriously, don't you?
I have to say, I like this angle they're taking with the more, like, light side of things. It's something I wish Kingdom Hearts would do a bit more of, and they did kind of tap into it a bit with Ericus in Birth by Sleep. Like, light can, you know, blind you from what is true virtue and what isn't.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's one of the things that probably makes Birth by Sleep, I mean, part of me hopes Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, but Birth by Sleep in particular, the most fascinating in terms of how it deals with the idea of light and dark.
Yeah.
I would also say Retail of Memories, Reverse Rebirth, but I'd say Birth by Sleep probably does it better, because it is that whole light versus darkness, but you've got the different bits along the spectrum of where people sit. Effectively, Aqua's your pure light, Ven is your mixture, and Terra's your darkness.
Yeah.
And you've got that mixture that shows that all of them can do good, but all of them can do bad as well, and it's quite effective.
Stroking Cereza like a goddamn, like, James Bond villain cat right there, and yeah, I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point that Luca's dad was killed this same way.
Indeed. Boulder is the one who ordered Luca's father's death. And yes, right here, he says it very plainly that he'll allow Luca to die in the same manner as his father. And this is sort of the moment where the penny drops for Luca, that this is what happened.
Jesus. Oh, no. Well, I mean, he survived being thrown off a building once.
Yeah, but he was actually not, you know, restrained by magical stuff at that point.
Oh, that's gotta be the worst way to die. Like, there's ways for you to get out, but you just can't do it.
Exactly, like, he's dead, obviously. And, I mean, I remember when I first saw that, I was just like, no, you bastard!
If I didn't hate you already, Boulder, I'm sure miffed at you now.
It was just one of those moments where just, like, it filled me with rage. I think I even had a few tears at that moment, because I got really invested.
Christ, Rich.
I get really invested in everything, have you not noticed?
Watch fucking Steven Universe, then!
There's too many episodes, goddammit.
They're 11 minutes each, you fucking pleb. By the way, I love how he's taunting Bayonetta with, like, Jean's demise. Jean, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I have to say, I've heard some people do videos on Bayonetta and said Jean, and I'm just like, oh, you monsters! That hurts my soul. It's Jean. The game says Jean.
Fear not, my dear, sweet Cereza.
He loves saying that.
I know, and it just sounds so creepy. It's another one of those repeating lines, but they end up getting majorly different contexts each time it's repeated, and it's a move that I really love in narratives.
Fear your fate. Stand tall, my child.
I was pretty tall already. You didn't have to, like, grab me by the throat and hoist me above your head.
Yeah, but clearly he decided that must happen.
It's that tough love, you know, like your little girl's acting up, throw her against a window, and then use her past self to fuse with yourself, and then, I don't know what's going on with my mind anymore, Richie.
I don't know either. It's incredibly creepy. I don't know whether it entirely makes sense, but it leads to one of the best boss fights in the game, so really I don't actually care.
Out with the old brittle vessel, in with the new, younger, stronger one. Oh, parallels.
Indeed, I do love a good bookend, and this is like the perfect boss fight right now. You've got the most stunning piece of music, which is You Call Me Father. Well, You May Call Me Father, and we're falling on pieces of debris from the Itherville building, and it's just so incredibly epic.
I have to say, I don't think this fight was all that great for me, because I found it a bit clunky, mostly because it didn't gel with my fighting style, which is just mash and like hope which time activates. But I'm curious to see how you fare with this, because yeah, this is a fight that's best fought when you have full control over Bayonetta.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is a fight that is going to properly challenge you. And I will say, it did take me more than a few tries to get the platinum run that I wanted on this. Because I remember when I actually did it the last time, I actually had the Gaze of Despair on during this fight. And that was an absolute godsend, because it did really well. But obviously then Boulder becomes a lot more aggressive. And it did not end well for me this time when I tried it. So I had to go for a different tactic.
Oh my god, he's repelling the Wicked Weave.
The Infernal Demon Summon.
Okay, look, it's a giant thing coming out of a portal. Cut me some slack.
This is true. But I think one of the things that I really love about this fight is that you have like moments of that where Bayonetta is summoning the demons that have caused so much damage throughout this battle, and Boulder just kind of twats them aside like they're nothing.
It kind of puts me in mind of having to bring out your Aeons in Final Fantasy X to allow them to be possessed, and then you have to kill them.
Yes, pretty much. But also
on the
another
opposite
reason
side
that
of the spectrum. I know, it's a confusing comparison, don't worry.
Yes, but another reason why I love this fight is you get moments like this, where Boulder throws a frickin' skyscraper at you. And then the way that Bayonetta solves this problem is she headbutts the bloody skyscraper and yells, "To the moon!" It's just... I love it so much. Oh, I know. The one thing that I wish had happened was that this fight had gone on a little bit longer, because there's another thing that Boulder can do. He's actually going to do part of it now, is he called upon this satellite, the Stumperon 16, to fire a laser down on you. Later on in this fight, it will actually, he will drop it on you, which is just even more awesome, but unfortunately I couldn't actually get that one to occur.
Next up we have the creepy caterpillar thing.
Yep, Scolopendra. And annoyingly, I'm trying to find the what Stumperon 16 is a reference to, because I know it's some sort of Sega. Oh yes. Oh no, that's a Bleed podcast, for God's sake. But yeah, the System 16 Stumperon satellite laser is another Sega console reference.
Nice.
Which is just like, but come here, you beautiful asshole.
God almighty. Again, camp as a nun's handbag.
But it works so well.
It does, yeah, like this screams final boss, so it's done its job like design and aesthetic wise, at least.
Oh god, yeah, and yeah, I love this fight so much. It frustrated me when I was recording because I was just like, I just want a good run of this fight. I want to do well in it. I want to give this the fight it deserves.
Would you say this is better or worse than Senator Armstrong?
Better.
Okay.
By a country mile.
Oh.
Also because you get this iconic scene.
Nice.
Just every time, just the clocking it, putting it, shooting it, don't fuck with a witch. Beautiful. And it becomes even more amazing when you realise that that's her lipstick. And that lipstick, you can actually see it for a split second, says, I believe it's Boulder and Rosa, with love until the end of time.
Aww.
So basically that lipstick that Bayonetta uses to kill Boulder was the lipstick that Boulder gave to her mother when they were sort of falling in love.
Well, there we go. Time resumes.
Time resumes, and Luke is still alive.
God, he just won't die.
Well, of course he just won't die. Like, if you don't see the body, they're not dead.
Very true. Either that or they've just been sent to the fucking Shadow Realm or Dark Realm.
This is true. But yeah, just to do the specific what's on the lipstick, it is Boulder and Rosa, 19/3/1394, with love until the end of time, which is amazing.
Alright, I guess we saved the day, so it's time to go home.
Well, there's one thing left to do. They've got to return Cereza back to the past.
To play some shitty games that suck ass.
Well, no, because if Cereza doesn't return to the past, then she will never grow up to be Bayonetta.
Very true, very true. Stable gaming time loop.
Exactly. I don't quite know how this magic works, but then it is the power of the Lumen Sages and the Umbran Witches to kind of look after the Trinity of Realities, and since they have the ability of Witch Time and Light Speed, I believe it is, clearly they have the ability to travel through time as well.
Who raised Bayonetta then, if, like, both Boulder and Rosa died?
So clearly Boulder never actually died.
Yeah, you know what I mean, yeah.
But she was raised as an outcast by the other Umbra Witches. Because her mother was imprisoned. Her mother was actually there for most of her life, actually. But she still passed away, unfortunately. But we don't know what happened to her just yet. But I love this cutscene as well because it's just so beautiful and poignant and sweet.
Yeah, it's great.
And it really shows that sort of motherly side of the Bayonetta has earned throughout this game, and it just works so well.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
And that's why she likes the song.
Exactly. And just everything about that I'm in love with.
So I guess it was more a case of Bayonetta learning to love herself than learning to, like, become a mother figure.
Effectively, yes. It's sort of coming to terms with her past, figuring out who she is, and that's how she's gonna kind of move on.
Yeah. Oh?
But you see, a little something has just happened there. Because in returning Cereza to the past, having been through the experiences she has been, she has now kept that keepsake close to her heart, which is effectively completely rewritten history.
Oh, shit.
Which is why we have this stable time loop. Because the first instance can only occur if that hasn't happened, but obviously Bayonetta can't really wake up if it's not for that happened. So it's effectively that really weird stable time loop.
I got you.
And as we're about to find out, this was Boulder's plan all along.
And now it is done. The right eye oversees the light. The left eye oversees the darkness.
Darkness.
2 eyes.
Don't, you'll start going so deep and gravelly that you go into Master Xehanort territory.
It was never the woman known as Bayonetta that I set my sights upon.
God, what must be going through Luca's mind right now?
I know, it's just like, he's seen some crazy shit up to this point, but this is just like, my god. Sort of the woman who has taken down everything under the sun, survived all the odds, has suddenly been kidnapped by the guy who murdered my father. Just like, it'll just be blowing his mind right now.
Well, I'm out. This has been fun.
Let us begin, Cereza. The time is at hand.
He's just loving that ship. He just loves being evil.
Well, of course. And also, this is what he's been trying to do for the last 500 years.
Jeez, get a hobby.
He's been trying to resurrect the creator. And that's what this has all been aiming towards. That's why he was after all that new energy. That is why he's built this sort of massive statue in the middle of Isla del Sol, and why he's got all that sort of protection. Because this is what he's wanted all along. The two eyes of the world, himself and Cereza.
Ooh, that's not good!
Definitely not good.
May Jubileus the Creator grace all of its creation.
It just ends like that.
I know, it's I love this chapter so much.
Oh, you were so close to a pure platinum there, mate.
I was, but yeah, I was not getting through that without getting hit at least once, so there we go. But you know, since Bayonetta's been captured, you'll notice a little something about Angel Attack and the loading screens.
Yeah, I noticed this. This was a really nice touch.
She's not there.
But who is shooting? We'll never know until the next part, which we do know.
Well, I mean, the question is it said person who is actually shooting here, or are, you know, we just playing an arcade game where Bayonetta's just kind of decided to fuck off?
Well, it's Platinum Games. It could be any of those options, really.
It really could.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next time, where hopefully Bayo will get out of this jam in the final part of Bayonetta. See you then.